You're watching Utah's #1 news channel. This is 2 News at 10.
Sorrow in Utah. 2 police officers shot, 1 hurt, the other killed.
Officer Barney was subsequently transported to the Intermountain Medical Center where he died of his injuries at 13-12 hours.
Doug Barney, a veteran officer, husband and father, mourned and honored by men and women in blue.
I cried to the point of almost dehydration at the hospital, kind of got that over with, and now I'm trying to think about what I need to do to help his family.
All caused, police say, by a wanted man with a criminal past.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for 2 News at 10. Collectively, we as a state may be stunned and numb tonight after the events of this very sad day.
Officer Doug Barney killed in the line of duty. Officer John Ritchie shot and hurt, and the suspect dead. Extended team coverage for you now, starting with Jeremy Harris in Holiday. Jeremy, it all happened very near where you are tonight.
Yeah, that's right, Amy. Here in Holiday near 4500 South and 2300 East, and that is where investigators remain on scene tonight. Police still have those roads closed down as crime scene investigators continue to process this very expansive scene where this deadly exchange played out.
They identified what appeared to be a very serious automobile accident.
This crash site was the beginning of what would become a deadly exchange of gunfire between police and an armed suspect. Cops say one of the drivers, Corey Lee Henderson, and a woman crashed their black BMW at 4500 South and 2300 East. According to police, the pair left the car, walking away as officers responded. Moments later, Officer Doug Barney finds Henderson a few blocks away. That's when police say the gunfire started. Henderson shoots Barney once in the head. Responding cops found Officer Barney wounded on the ground.
9:58 hours, officer came onto our frequency and indicated that an officer was down, shots had been fired.
The hunt then began for Henderson, who officers found a short ways from the scene of the first shooting.
As soon as officers came into contact with this individual, gunfire erupted. Multiple rounds were exchanged, both from the suspect and from our officers.
Henderson was shot and killed, but not before 3 of his bullets hit Officer John Ritchie, according to police.
This is a tragedy on multiple levels.
Ritchie was rushed to the hospital. He survived, but with serious injuries. Cops continued the search for the woman who was with Henderson in the car. Then, emotional family members of Henderson arrive at the scene and scuffle with police. Henderson's mother was taken into custody and released. Henderson's brother, Jaden Snyder, was booked for assaulting a police officer.
And tonight we have received an update from Unified Police. They tell us that they have actually located 1 person in connection with this, though we are told it is not believed to be the woman that was with the suspect when this whole ordeal played out. So it's still a very active investigation tonight. We still are waiting to learn more from police. That likely will come tomorrow morning as investigators continue to make their way through this very difficult case, obviously for them losing one of their own tonight. Brian and Amy, back to you.
All right, Jeremy on this top story for us. Thank you, Jeremy.
Heart's heavy tonight. Officer Barney was known and loved by many, by his students at a local school where he had worked extra shifts as a resource officer, by his fellow officers, and we here at Channel 2 also have heartfelt appreciation for him as well.
That's right. Officer Barney, or Doug, as we called him, worked extra shifts doing security for our station here, and he was just here last night, right outside our studios, keeping us safe. He walked many of us to our cars after the show. It was something he often did before he would go home for the night. We are grateful for his service. He was such a nice guy and is being remembered for that and so much more.
We lost one of the nicest, best guys you'll ever meet.
Unified spokesman Lieutenant Lex Bell speaking to 2 News Sunday on a more personal matter.
As close as brothers, maybe even. I think that's an understatement.
Officer Doug Barney, his close friend for years.
He and I were in Kearns, and then we went out to Magna, worked out there for a long time. Every call, he'd try to be the first one there. Anybody needed help, he's coming.
Remembering one call when he was down, struggling with a suspect.
And all of a sudden, I just see the fence go down. He just knocked the fence right down. I just boom, and he gets back up and runs over and, helps me out. But nothing was going to stop him from getting to me when I needed help.
A family man, devoted to his wife and 3 children, Officer Barney was also a devoted public servant.
He's one of those people that loved to help other people and loved to serve. He just loved his job, loved people, and wanted to help. If you go through every person he's ever arrested, you'd have a hard time finding somebody that doesn't like him, that didn't laugh once at least on the way to jail. He was always cracking everybody up, and he was just that kind of guy.
Even laughing off his hard-fought battle with cancer.
Cancer wasn't going to kill him, and that's for sure. He's beat it for 12 years. Cancer's not going to get him.
But in an instant, this big man, in both personality and stature, was responding to a call when he was killed in the line of duty.
It's just tragic that a bullet ended his life for no good reason.
Again, it's with heavy hearts we report on this story tonight. Officer Barney was an 18-year veteran of the force. He was just 44 years old.
He and I spoke just last night. He was hanging out near the newsroom, and he had kind words. We spoke a couple weeks ago about his family, too. Very proud of his family. You nailed it. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, our hearts go out to his family tonight. Well, tonight, Utah's law enforcement community reaching out to console and comfort on social media and in so many other ways.
A woman who knows the pain of losing her police officer husband is among those offering support. Lisa Nico has been speaking to people about coping with today's trauma. Lisa.
Yes, you can certainly feel the devastating loss of this man, Officer Barney. But for Chantel Johnson, the pain is personal. She lost her husband, Derek Johnson, in the line of duty 2.5 years ago. Today, she spent over at Intermountain Medical Center offering a compassionate shoulder to the family who lost this veteran and this friend.
He gave his life to protect the community he swore to protect.
Chantel Johnson, with the Fraternal Order of Police, didn't know Officer Doug Barney and his family.
We absolutely love you, and we are so sorry for your loss.
Until he was shot Sunday morning.
And he was a contagious, fun person. And he did a really good job at what he did, and his community will notice his absence.
Now the police community and the systems that support them still reeling from their loss.
It appears that an individual fired what appears to be a single round at Officer Barney, striking him in the head.
Are offering support.
The Fraternal Order of Police will help coordinate all the escorts for the family to get to and from and make sure that there is around-the-clock protection for the family.
As the widow of Sergeant Derek Johnson, who was killed in the line of duty September 2013, Chantel knows about the pain, but also the support those who loved Officer Barney will experience.
Right now, a widow is just in shock mode. What I have experienced is that a community really pulls together and unites, and that is the most important thing that we can do.
On the force for nearly 2 decades, Johnson says the outgoing officer, supportive family man, and friendly public servant,
Officer Barney was doing his job, and he did it beautifully.
Will be missed.
We absolutely love you, and we are so sorry for your loss.
Greatly.
We will unite, and we will get through this together.
Lots of people turning to social media tonight to express their condolences, including some of our coworkers. As I said earlier, we are all reaming from this loss. I was lucky enough to meet Doug last night for the first time. He walked me to my bicycle on my way home, and he told me to be safe. Back to you.
Wanted to make sure everybody was safe. Lisa, nicely done. Thank you.
We turn now to the suspect, the man killed by police in a shootout. Who was he? What was his criminal past?
Corey Lee Henderson faced charges over 10 years and was not supposed to be on the street today and was not supposed to have a gun. Court records show Corey Lee Henderson was ordered to serve years in federal prison for gun violations. In 2005, he pleaded guilty to having an unregistered sawed-off rifle. In 2010, he pleaded guilty to being a felon in possession of a firearm. And just last month, he entered not guilty pleas to new federal gun and drug charges. Awaiting proceedings on those allegations, a federal magistrate judge sent him here to Fortitude Treatment Center, run by the Utah Department of Corrections, where state parolees sometimes spend time.
Was serving a sentence.
Corrections spokesperson Brooke Adams said Henderson walked away from the facility on December 18th. She said Corrections notified law enforcement and the Board of Pardons issued a fugitive warrant for him. Henderson was also charged with a raft of state crimes going back to 2005: theft, drugs, guns. Most were dismissed, sometimes while he was in federal prison. But in 2014, yet another gun charge in a state case stuck. Henderson was sentenced to prison not to exceed 5 years. He served about 14 months. And some may ask, what if? What if the state prison held Henderson longer? What if he were held longer in federal prison? What if the federal judge had sent him to lockup on the latest charges instead of a parolee drug treatment center where he could check out during the day? We'll never know, but the Board of Pardons says it will check on the reason Henderson was released from the state prison when he was.
For the very latest on the holiday police shooting that killed Officer Doug Barney, you can visit our website, KUTV.com. You can also get updates through our social media channels as well. We'll have more there on pending funeral announcements and different things like that. So I know so many in the community would like to come and pay their respects.
Certainly, and a lot more coming up tomorrow.